All right, it's time to talk sports with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dan Manucci, who is part of the Fox 9:10 a.m. show, Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy B. Did I get it all right, Dan?
Hey, Bradley, 5 years later, man, you nailed it. You're doing great.
Well,
I knew you'd get it sooner or later, but you got it, my brother.
I know, because you were confused me. It's Manucci, but it's Manuch on the radio. Is that because you look beautiful here on TV and then on radio you look a little different?
Well, no, it's not that at all. I do make up pretty good for the radio. For you guys, I make up pretty good. But isn't it scary, Brad? I actually know how to do my own makeup after all these years.
Wow.
I am totally secure with who I am and where I'm going and what I think I'm doing.
There you go. And that's what you get on the radio, too. Dan, let's talk here because this week, really not any major controversy with rules or anything like that, but a lot of trading, firing going on. And let's just say, I'm going to go ahead and say that right now I am taking up a collection to get the Cardinals tickets for the Super Bowl because it doesn't look like they're going.
Boy, they learn like scruffle-upless, don't they? I mean, I think that a lot of fans are ready to send this team back to Sesame Street, as scruffle-upless as they are. You know what? It's interesting watching this game. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Opening drive, they go down. They only get a field goal. Again, miscommunication on a pass play. And literally, Brad, they only scored 3 points on a Seattle team that gives up some of the most points. They're the number 31 as far as giving up points in the National Football League. The Cardinals can only get 3 offensively. They get another 6, because they missed the extra point. And they only scored 9 points, and they allowed 19 points on top of that. Seattle's an okay team. But, boy, the Cardinals laid that proverbial egg in Seattle this last weekend.
I know. It was crazy there. And now they've actually had to acquire a disgruntled player to help out on the line. Is that going to be any good for them right now?
Well, Robbie Anderson, who had a moment on the sideline of the Carolina Panthers, got into it with his receiver coach. And then Steve Wilkes, who's the interim head coach since Matt Rule got fired last week. Steve Wilkes, former Arizona Cardinal coach, now the interim coach. And then Robbie Anderson gets into it with his receiver coach, Steve Wilkes. The interim coach kicks Robbie Anderson off the sideline into the locker room. Why wouldn't the Arizona Cardinals trade for him the very next day and get him on the team? Main reason why is because Hollywood Brown hurt his foot on that last pass play that was intercepted. And it looks like he could be out probably the remainder of the year. So the Cardinals going to pick up a disgruntled knucklehead who got kicked off the sideline by the Carolina Panthers to hopefully fill in for one Hollywood downtown Brown in tonight's game against New Orleans Saints. Do I need to go any further how I actually feel about this move, Brent?
You know what? You don't. And I think a lot of people are kind of like having that feeling too because, again, you're going to bring in someone who's not happy in general. It's going to mix things up. And as you said, tonight taking on a team that they need to beat. I mean, I'm sorry. It's not even about going to play. They need to be even, considered for fans to want to go watch them because I think a lot of fans are starting to get a little kind of tired of this.
Yeah, it really is. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is off his suspension, so he will be back for tonight's game. So DeAndre Hopkins, how much he plays, Brett, I don't know, because he hasn't played, the 7 weeks. So I don't know what kind of football shape he's going to be in. So D-Hop will be there. Hollywood Brown will be out. I don't know how much Robbie Anderson's going to play.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the system, so there's that. And then you got Pugh, the left guard. He is out for the season with an ACL. And then you got Rodney Hudson, whether he plays or not, at center. So you have Harlow that's playing. So you got a banged-up offensive line. You got depth. One good thing I will say this. So it's Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, has this defense playing very, very well. Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons are playing very, very well. You're starting to see the young guys play well. They held Seattle, who's one of the highest scoring teams, to just the 19 points. So if just the Cardinals offense could get into gear, and Brad, to your point, yeah, they've got to win. They're 2-4. They go 2-5. There could be some splaining to do to the owner, that being Michael Bidwell. And Cliff Kingsbury, he may have to give up the play calling duties, or his butt could be on that hot seat. that stove is starting to get a little hotter than he's sitting on right now for the Cardinals.
It is. I'll tell you, it's going to be crazy. Well, I'll tell you, we're going to find out tonight, and next week we'll talk more about what's happening to the Cardinals, some other football. Really quick, I just have to do this by, I guess it's in the contract. But Dan, who does Kansas take on this? Your team take on, which college team they take on? How you feeling?
It's not Kansas, Brett. It's Kansas State University, the Fighting Wildcat. That hurt me. You said Kansas. We have them the last game of the year. Kansas State will take on the TCU Horned Frog. The Horned Frogs, that's right. And Horned Frogs is not a mythical character to your beliefs. It is an actual toad / horned frog. So we have it's K-State, the Purple Pride versus the Purple Pride. Hopefully we mix in to win the true Wildcats of Manhattan, Kansas.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Manucci with Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy B over on Fox Sports 910 AM Phoenix. And also, where can they find you online?
I go to at Roc and Manuch on that thing they call the internet. By the way, I can't find the end of it. I'm sure it's there somewhere. And then you can always tweet me at QB Manuch. I'm not running from nobody. Even though I'm a quarterback, they say get out of bounds and get down. I used to run into folks. By the way, I would throw the first interception on purpose, Brad, just so I could hit somebody and get all that angst out of my system. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Dan, thank you for joining us this morning.
Have a good one, Brad.